me give you a tip, sir. If let's say someone call you for a phone interview and that person end with a conversation asking you, do you have anything that you want to tell or share or whatever, please do not say no. Please do not
Okay.
say, no, I'm just done. It's good. Everything is good. Please do not say that, because I myself, as that person, when I say, do you have anything to tell? Basically, in my heart, I'm having a 50% chances whether I want to hire you or not. That's why I give you a last chance and ask you, if you have anything that you want to tell, that you want to share with me, anything you want to ask, so say something. Say something like, oh, thank you so much for calling. I hope that I'll get this opportunity. You might not know me very well now, but I'm sure that I will do my best, and then we will get to proceed from there. You know, this is the thing that you don't know, because actually there's a 50% chances that person is in the heart or in the mind, that person don't know whether to hire you or not. So they give you a last chance. If you say no, then I know already your chances is going to zero. Then I will just scratch off. Yeah, that's the trick lah, to share with
That's
you.
amazing. That's amazing tip, right, guys?
Interesting,
Wow.
right?
Yeah, I never knew that.
So many people ask, you don't know who to hire or not to hire. So, you know, at the end of the day, we also got KPI to submit to the boss, who to hire, not to hire. So that's how we do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's a good trick. So we can also welcome Miss Cheryl, who just joined us. Hi, Miss
Hi, Miss
Cheryl. Good to see
Cheryl.
you.
Mr.
Hi, nice
Vincent
to
say
meet
hi.
all of you.
Mr. Vincent
Nice
say hi, sister.
Hi, sister.
Hi.
Cheryl is my JJ or what?
No, it's mine.
I don't know.
Wait. Cheryl Chan is related to Winston Chan?
Yes, my sister.
And you're related to Hanson Chan.
Yes.
Betul. Yay.
Wow.
Oh, I know, Hanson. Yeah, long time never speak to Hanson.
Yeah. He's currently working in Infineon.
He has been working in Infineon since then, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Interesting. All right. So everyone, we can start our session. Sorry, 5:09, 5:10.
Yep,
Okay.
sure.
So first of all, welcome to our guest, Miss Alice, for joining with us today. So we are glad to have you to share your experience, share the facts, some opinions that you have in a lot of things regarding employment and the current pandemic we're having. And welcome to all the guests that we have right now. We also have we're also in Instagram Live, right, Mr. Vincent? Yeah. Yep. And then we'll have a few more people joining us in this Google Meet. So Miss Alice, maybe you can start with introducing yourself and your background to the audience.
Yeah, sure. Hi, my name is Alice Leong Mei Peng. You can call me Alice. So basically, I graduated from MMU year 2016, 2016, from the background of mechanical engineering. And I did my foundation in MMU as well. So 5 years in MMU, it was a very nice university. Okay. Is nice, and basically if you come out majority, you'll find a lot of MMU students and Uni 10 students in the market. What I would like to share is my background is mechanical engineering, and I've been doing engineering work since then, 2016. Started work in July 2016 until now. Yeah, I think I told Mr. Vincent that I changed my job recently from my first company to my second company at the moment. The first company that I did, it's a field that we specialize in fire protection. So basically, we do fire protection for industrial area, not the commercial one, but industrial in a sense of oil and gas. Because oil and gas is a high hazard area. So it's a high risk area. You need fire protection that it's out of something different compared to the commercial one. Yeah, that's how I spent my past 3.5 years in the first job in fire protection for oil and gas, refineries, high risk area. And then my job changed to another field of specializations whereby we do clean room. So clean room meaning semicon would know what is a clean room. So for semicon, they have a very high, what's the name called? Very high standard for the clean room. They have different classes of clean room for high efficiency, particular A filter. So for clean room itself, yeah, for now we are doing that, the current company that I'm joining. And when I was doing my my first job for 2 years later on, I did my master also, Master of Science in Engineering Business Management, because by the time you start doing engineering, you realize that engineering basically like a designer. So
Mhm.
a lot of times probably we will lack out one skills, which is to look at costing. Because why do we do projects? The reason we do projects is because we want money. I mean, basically, why do we do business? The reason why we do business is because we want money. So
Yeah.
if let's say you are just a designer, you just execute plans and you don't know how the costing actually give you the effect in terms of business management, it's something different. That's the reason why I took my engineering business management. And I know that MMU has engineering business management also. So if any one of you want to do masters, do find out more about
Promote,
engineering business
promote.
in MMU. But mine is actually from UTM. The reason is because I did in UTM. First thing first, I want to try some different uni lah. Basically, I want to make different networking out of MMU. And the second thing is because UTM has a double master. So you do local UTM MEBM, and you get to do a extension of the studies to Japan. So I spent a month in Japan to do MBA. So by the time I graduate, I'll get 2 masters. Masters in MBA from Meiji University, Japan, and master from UTM, Engineering Business Management. So there'll be 2 masters. And I need to do 2 masters project, just like 2 final year project. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
That's
All
about it.
right. It's good to know your background, Miss Alice. Thank you again for being with us. So today's discussion will be basically focusing on employment for our students who are listening to this. So maybe you can share on, like most graduates, they have a 4.0 or 3.0. They all have like average results, some of them. And how did they really go out there in the employment market and stand out? How can they be special?
To be honest, to be special, let's start with how the whole process will start first. So in order for us to go out and hunt, the first process will come in definitely is when you submit your resume. Yeah, so the resume part is where that people don't see you, where the HR don't see you, but that particular piece of paper or that particular PDF that you send in the email will reflect on yourself. So what I would like to share is how you want to stand out is how your CV can stand out for you. Yeah, that's my point of view, that if you want to stand out at this crisis, your resume will have to stand out before you. So like I mentioned, I just changed my job recently, and how I wanted to make myself different compared to others is I did something. Yeah, which that something actually I learned from MMU.
Wow. All right.
Back then when we were in, I cannot remember whether it was in the foundation year or whether it was in the first year. There's one subject called English. There's one subject is English one. There's one subject for academic English, something English. I cannot remember. But in that subject, we have to do a video resume. We have to do a video. Actually, video resume is not something very it's not something new in the market. It's something common, but it depends on how you want to do your video resume and you put it into the CV. Meaning that you can just do your resume as usual. And my suggestion is that your resume is in one piece. Just on one piece itself is enough. How you want to do the content of resume, basically if you Google, there's a lot already. There's a lot of templates that you can choose from. There's a lot of guidance that you can choose from. Okay. To stand out yourself before your actual face can come out, I would suggest that you can do video resume. Just find a proper background, do introductions of yourself. You tell people what's your name, what's your background, and you tell people why do you want to join the company. If you want to make it even more special and stand out, make the video specially for that company.
Wow. That's a very good idea. I never thought about that.
For example, what I did you see, I'm jumping from fire protection to pharmaceutical area. So what I did was actually, at the end of the video, I actually typed out that dear XXXXX. Wait, someone is presenting. I will write dear XXXXX. I know that my background is in fire protection, and I know that my shortfall in pharmaceutical area. However, I have this, and that, and I hope to be given an opportunity. So I made it in John specialized.
Uh, is there anything else going on? I lost the.
She's breaking. Yeah.
Who's breaking? Me.
No, Miss Alice.
Okay, okay. Is she back?
Mm,
She's breaking. It's okay. We can have a break while waiting for her to come back. So I think the idea of the video resume is amazing, right? It stands out from the other paper resume. So you can just do a video resume and then give it to the like upload in the drive and then give the link to the company, and then they can just click into the video, they can watch it, they get to know you better, makes you stand out.
this is something I don't know lah, but I never heard of this before lah. That's the thing.
Yeah, I never heard about this.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah,
For all,
I can
yeah.
see.
You see?
Yeah, it's great lah. I mean, it's a good idea. How about Mr. Vincent? Can we have a back?
Sekejap eh.
Okay. It's okay. We can have some eggplant. Anybody got any cardboard of Dali or something? Can just put it on the screen.
So hi everybody, welcome to today's AI session. I hope you all are well. Looks like we have a few people here also, about 11 to 12.
We
A lot
have,
of
yeah.
different people from different backgrounds we see over here. It's not a really common like from MMU students. I can see that as well. So nice to have a lot of different people coming and joining to talk to us today.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. In case if you have any doubts, you want to know more about any certain topics like academic matters, sports, whatever, just leave a comment to us, and then we will take a look at it and then come back with another session. Maybe why not?
Okay, so Miss Alice is back.
I'm
Yeah,
back here.
you're back.
Okay.
Okay.
What's wrong with it? Huh? How come it's like suddenly no, it's
I think
gone?
we
Is it-
lost your connection for a while.
Line
Yeah,
drop pun. The line
the
drop.
line.
Okay.
So you can
but-
proceed from the video resume just now.
Yeah, I mentioned video resume. So if you make it more special, even if it's
Mhm.
also human beings, when they see things like that, they will feel like, wow, this person quite sincere. And if your criteria is not that bad, why not? Why not? I have only
Yeah.
seen your CV, I haven't seen your face. I should give you another 50% chances like what I've shared with you. Why not? I should see you. After all, I just add on another piece of paper to another criteria only ma. So
Mhm.
it will make yourself stand out compared to a very boring, very boring
Yeah.
CV, I would say. Yeah. And then whether to put pictures or not to put pictures, this one is very subjective, really subjective. Some people say yes, some people say no. And then I've also attended some sharing sessions from these experts saying that don't put, but also got people say if you want to put, you have to put this and that. From my point of view, this is my personal point of view. If you want to put, I think it's good, just to make sure that it's professional enough. I wouldn't suggest, I've seen CV or resume that putting selfie. That would be not so appropriate.
Yeah.
Actually, unless you're actually applying for maybe musicians, or you're applying for more interior designers, that would be different. But if let's say you're applying for, let's say, lawyers, accountants, engineers, or lecturers, it would be more appropriate if you put a more professional pictures. Yeah, and give a big smile lah.
I agree.
Good
Got a
looking is
summer
good looking,
face.
but put a big smile. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know how to be stand out in the market. A good resume is like it's the backup for you to get a job. If you have bad resume with bad pictures, bad contents, it's not like you're gonna get a job anyway, right? You have to convince the recruiter anyway. So how do you expect the employment trend going on right now? What do you think about the employment trend?
What do I think about employment trend? I myself actually has been monitoring about the employment trend, and I've been asking a lot of people. So I've been asking people what is their view about employment trend at the moment, especially after this pandemic or during this pandemic. Personally, from myself, what I've observed, this is from my personal point of view. From what I observed, I foresee that a lot of people say IT. Pharmaceutical, medicine, this area, definitely it will expand because of this, they say the pandemic, but there will be a curve. I feel like there will be a curve, there will be an up and down. But I foresee that the trend that will go far these days, I have a feeling it will be the freelancer.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Freelancer.
You see, freelancer. You see, at this crisis, everybody wants to reserve cash. Most organizations want to reserve cash. So in Malaysia, our biggest organizations or our biggest capacity of organization is SME, which is a small medium enterprises. And for them, cash flow is very important. So if possible, they don't want to hire a full-time people to come in, whereby the work trend might be, sometimes you'll be very busy, sometimes you are not. And when you are not, where should I put you at? So at that point of place, a lot of companies would actually opt for freelancer. That's how I see where the trend will go to, that people want to hire more freelancers. It could be different field. If they would want to hire full-time,
All right, seems like we lost the guest for a moment, but it's okay. We can just wait. So anybody from the floor, you have any questions, you can type it down in advance so that we can compile and we can ask the guest for any responses. So hope you're all doing well. Any MU students inside here? Nicholas, anyone you can recognize MU students?
I can see Gabriel Chua. Okay, all jokes aside, Mr. Ho Chin Han is actually an MMU student, and Mr. Ho Chin Han, today is his birthday actually.
Oh, really? Happy birthday, Mr. Ho Chin Han.
Birthday, Mr. Chin Han. Okay. I have not recognized anyone else. Miss Angeline, of course, one of our speakers from 2 weeks ago. Thank you for joining us as well for this session. Okay. No one else. Okay, so Miss Alice is trying to reconnect again. So this is definitely one of the challenges we are facing when we do like online presentations such as this, right? Yeah, Sanjay. So this is a new normal for all of us. We're still trying to adapt to this type of new situation. Even though with RMCO happening right now.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Am I back?
Yes, you're back.
You're back. Good to see you.
So sorry. I'm so
okay.
No, it's
sorry.
okay. It's okay. It's fine. I mean, we all got disconnected all the time. No problem.
I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry.
It's okay,
I'm
miss. No
sorry.
problem. So maybe we can hear more because the audience are very excited to know more about your topic on the recruitment after the pandemic. So the trend.
The recruitment trend, from my point of view, it will be more on the freelancer at the moment. Let's talk about the near 1 year. Let's talk about 1 year because nobody knows what will happen after the 1 year. Let's talk about the first one, the near 1 year period of time near to us. My point of view is the freelancers will be the one
highly demanded.
Will be hired. So you see, big companies, they will definitely have allocations of a budget to hire manpower, human resource. Okay, that's acceptable for them. But for SME, they might probably have not such budget for recruitment, whereby they will need to have outsourced to get people come in to do work from time to time. Let's say I need a designer to design my brochure, my templates and everything. I can always hire a full-time people to come in. Okay, maybe 2 people to do. But I know at this peak period of peak time, I need more than 2 manpower. What should I do? I'll get freelancer to come in. See, that's how I want to optimize. I get you 2 persons to do the work. I optimize you. But when it comes to peak, I need to hire another persons to come in. So the freelancers will come in. And if you realize slowly, more and more freelancers will be there. Just probably we need to take note about the tax registrations, because if let's say you're only doing it for leisure, or let's say 1 year you only get 2, 3, 4 jobs, that's okay lah. That's really like a freelancer. But let's say you are earning the money consistently coming in from there, then you have to register for the tax registrations. That's my suggestions and my opinion about how the trend will come in slowly. So at the end of the day, you are no longer just parking yourself under one company. You are actually parking the company under your own self. You are the one who is hiring yourself. You are hiring your own self. So if you want a job, present yourself. If you want a job, you have to seek for it. I'm sure. You see, when it comes to, I know your next questions will be about job hunting. Maybe you'll be asking job hunting. You see, job hunting itself is no longer just restricted to the platform where people hire people. It's more wide now in the sense of people know people and people hire people through people know people. So what it means is like maybe Facebook, some of the designers, like I mentioned to you, they want freelancer, but they won't put up the money to tell you that, okay, I'm hiring for freelancer. Even they have to do so, they might probably use a platform whereby it's free of charge, like Indeed. Indeed has a lot of people do for it for freelancers and part-timers because it's free of charge. And then Facebook, you very casually, you will see people posting on Facebook saying, we are hiring for these interior designers. If you know any of your friends who are interested, please ask them to join us. Yeah, there will be people also. People know people. Yeah, that's how I see how the next coming 1 year. I would use 1 year, like the near 1 year. I don't want to use too far away because the trend always change. For me, the trend is always changing. Yeah. So I would put the near 1 year. It will eventually be more and more freelancers coming out. And how you want to get the job or how you want to get yourself hired is through how you're being presented. Yeah.
All right. So would you advise students to go towards being an entrepreneur during this time?
Being an entrepreneur during this time is to be an entrepreneur at this time. I'm not a good idea or not.
It's very challenging, is it?
If you see the opportunity, if opportunity has come to you, definitely you should grab it and to become an entrepreneur. But the thing is, to become an entrepreneur is not as easy as I want to become an entrepreneur, then the next day you wake up, you just become an entrepreneur. Because if you yourself cannot sustain, you call yourself as an entrepreneur, it just doesn't make any sense. To become an entrepreneur is a process or journey. It's a process and journey that eventually lead you to that destination. So my idea of entrepreneurship is you can have that as a overall picture, as a bigger picture, or the destinations that you want to go. But you have to do the ground, the platform first. You have to do a platform. For example, if you yourself is very good in designing, or you yourself is very good in doing programming, then you can start by doing freelancer with people, getting jobs from maybe 200 ringgit jobs become 500 ringgit jobs, then 1,000, then it become bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's where you put yourself into entrepreneurship. It can always start from the smallest. Being a freelancer itself also is part of it, that you can become an entrepreneur. So if you're asking whether I ask people to become an entrepreneur or not, at this moment, I would rather ask them to become a freelancer and get jobs and become entrepreneur in the journey itself.
All right. Okay. So, Ms. Alice, based on your comment on the resume, right? So, how can you differentiate a good resume from a bad one? Like when you get a candidate, right? You got two different resumes. One is the one you want to hire, one you reject. Why is that so? What differentiates a good candidate from a bad one, according to a fresh graduate's perspective?
This one when I myself, when I want to hire people for the part-timer as instructors back then, how I want to differentiate the good one and the bad one. First and foremost, I would look into the details. The details in the sense of the location. I will look at the location for the beginning part. I will look at the locations, whether it's near to us or not. That's how I see it. The second one that I will look into is the job history, the working experience. The working experience in the sense of, I would see how long this person sustained in that company. If let's say this person only worked for, I've seen a person, he worked for a different company. Very short period of time, he will change job. But the experience that he has written on the piece of paper is it's good. So
Ah.
the second thing that I'll do is actually to give a call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to give a call. And then, by giving a call, also there's another one thing that I would like to emphasize to the people here is, if let's say you have sent out the resume,
Mm-hmm.
please do not forgotten that you have sent out the resume.
All right. Okay. Okay.
Please do not forgotten that you have
Mark
sent
it
out,
down.
because it sounds really bad. It sounds really bad when you have sent out the resume, and when that person call you and you say, do you remember that you sent out we are calling from this, and this, do you remember that you have sent out resume? Then you're like, oh, I cannot remember. I sent out to a lot.
Yeah, just blast it, Yeah.
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 So that
So
would
it's like very
sound
awkward.
really bad. That would sound really bad. So to differentiate, the first thing is from myself here is the location. The second thing is to see your working experience. And then the third thing that is to see that through your working experiences, how long you've sustained there and what are the things that you have learned from there.
All right.
That's how I see it.
So based on your resume, looking through a lot of resumes in your work life, what are the advice you can give to our students on what they should put in their resume and what they should not? Maybe encounter something weird in your,
What you should put and what you shouldn't put. Okay, we are talking about resume already now.
Yeah.
We are talking about resume already now. What you should put and what you shouldn't put. I think this one, the previous presenter will have shared better, Miss Adeline. What you should put and what you shouldn't put. Basically, let make it very honest. Let put yourself into the shoes that you want to hire someone. For me, if you want to know whether your resume is in the good looking or not good looking, let's put yourself into the shoes that you're HR. Then you look into it and ask yourself, do I hire this person?
Okay. Okay, that's a good tip.
No, Miss Adeline, I'm not hiring manager. I'm just an engineer. You look at the chat group, Miss Adeline say I'm hiring manager. No, I'm not. I'm an engineer. But I do hire people for the part-time job that I've done in robotics. Yeah, we have a company doing robotics and we hire part-timer instructors. That comes the resume.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just put yourself into the shoes that you are the HR and you look at the resume. Will I hire this person or not? So you read every single thing. And then please be very, very careful with your spacing, your font. I don't know why, but I feel like HR people or hiring people typically they're very OCD. And they will obviously want to see your resume whether they just want to find fault, like sometimes I want to hire this person, but the spacing is not consistent, or does it mean that this person is not putting good effort enough? Or the font is like a bit bigger and smaller and not consistent. Is it because that this person is not sincere enough of coming into the company? Things like that, people will look into it. Yeah, all these small particular the items that you should take note also. You have to keep on looking into it, that make sure that it's perfect. That you yourself, the moment you see, I definitely hire this person because it's so good. Yeah. And of course,
All right.
the second suggestion is to let other people to look into it. People that you're comfortable with. Your mentor.
Oh, okay.
Your mentor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we all
always
have Mr. Vincent there.
Always have a mentor. Always have a mentor. My suggestions to everyone who is in university at the moment, always have mentors. Always have people who are older than you, that when you face any problems, that when you face any doubts, ask these people. Ask these people. Yeah, that's how I want to share with you. Ask these people, because these people, they're older than you. They will be very nice to you. And let's make it more straightforward. They're elder than you. You're not going to be their competition. You're not going to be their competitions. You're not going to be their competitors, and they will just want to be good leaders also. So they'll definitely lead you to the correct route. Yeah, that's how I want to suggest to you.
That's amazing. Thanks for that tips. Okay, Miss Alice, recently I had a friend who texted me. She is the one that in the class, she always emphasized on pointer. 3.5 is good, 3.3 is good. So, but right now she's struggling to find a job. It's already been 4 months since she finished a semester. So from your perspective, is pointer important?
From my point of view, it's pointer important. The answer is yes, if you want to go to a big company. Because realistically, I have to tell you, whoever wants to go to a company, your point is very important. Your big requirement is already pointer for the big company. And usually people who are always with the higher pointer in us, they always tend to target for big company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So definitely to them, pointers important.
So
But to those who don't have high,
yeah, you can
to
continue.
those who don't have high pointers, like myself, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
All right.
If you
So
have to start small, then you just start small. Then from the working experience, then you do that. Yeah, Jackson, you're talking about?
okay. So pointer is important, but how important it is if they don't build their foundation on language, communication, people skill. So if they don't have all that, does pointer going to help them to get a
No.
job? Definitely no, right? So
No.
what is your advice to students on this matter for those who are just about pointer but not spending their time learning other skills? What is your advice to them? What should they do?
If let's say they have high, because basically the people that I know, if they have high pointers, they are very high ambitions, and throughout the way, they already equip themselves with it. But from your questions, what I can see is you are telling that, let's say with high pointers, but not very well in presentation, public speaking, communications.
Yeah, because there are students like that. So it's for them.
There are students like that. If it's like that, how do I want to suggest whether to equip themselves with it? Wow, this one. Talk to people.
All right. Maybe we can put that aside and come back to it later. We can move on to what you just mentioned, that freelancer is one of the highest demanded job, right? According to the trend. So what kind of freelancing would you advise graduates to explore in?
Oh, okay. I would suggest okay. You see, I just now also sharing with you that people who hire freelance, basically it's either by the time they need that expertise, then only they hire the freelance, or existing, they already got their manpower there doing this job, and they need more manpower, then they hire freelance to come in. So if you see all these freelance that being hired in doing something, it is usually something repetitive, like designing. The moment you know how to use the Photoshop, or the moment that you know how to use the designing tools, you can always apply it to different freelance job. All right, or software programming. This is the thing that, let's say, you see like the QR code. QR code actually basically you just put into the Google, then it will just transform the QR code for you. But if let's say they want something more, they want in-house apps that I want to monitor my organization's people who come into work, what time they come in work, and how they want to register through these apps. These are the things that is repetitive also, that you can learn already, then you can apply to different business or different clients. For freelancers, if you want to go into freelancers, but make sure you find something that you're interested into, you can go into skills and also knowledge that you can apply to different jobs. You can go for programming and coding. If you're interested in programming and coding, you can go for designing. If let's say you are good in presenting, in talking, you can always become let's say you want to become ambassador for different, or speaking narrators for different products. You can do different things. Or if you're good in taking pictures, you can become a freelance photographer for other people. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can learn through freelancing, and then you apply over and over again.
All right. Okay, that's very interesting, Miss Alice. Maybe you can share with us about, like me, I'm going to graduate in a few months, right? So there are a lot of students who are going to graduate just like me, and then we're going to look for a job after this, have to do resumes, send to companies and all. So what are the job portal channels you can recommend to us? And why is it very important for students to have a LinkedIn account? Is it important for students or not? You can just explain on this topic.
It is important. Like for me, LinkedIn account is very important, especially for fresh grads. Let me answer the first question first. What is the platform that you think? What is the platform that you think that is suitable to search for job? If you ask me, whichever platform that you know, you have to search for it. But let's say, if you are a very person, not to say lazy, like you're more like strategy, you focus on this channel, I would suggest on LinkedIn. I would suggest on LinkedIn because basically LinkedIn, to me, it's quite complete. I've used Indeed, I've used LinkedIn, I've used JobStreet. JobStreet, a lot of China. I don't know, but whenever I see JobStreet, there's a lot of China-based companies that want to hire people. They use JobStreet. So it depends. But for me, I think it's enough. LinkedIn itself is sufficient for me to search the market and for the job.
Wow.
Okay. And then whether LinkedIn account is important for fresh grads or not, there's always nothing say too early or too late. For me, the earlier that you start out with your account, the better it is, because this is where you present yourself. And sometimes the HR do what, sometimes the HR, when they see your resume, they want to find out more about you, they will go to LinkedIn to search. But you see, fresh grads is a bit different, because fresh grad, you don't have working experience. So they can't actually see your working experience through your LinkedIn account. So myself in the LinkedIn account, I found a few fresh grads from MMO, and I think they are doing a very, very, very good effort. You know why I say very good? They come up with the LinkedIn account of themselves, and occasionally they will post themselves what they have learned in the uni. Like, let's say they have joined this competition called SEMA, then they will post the pictures, and they will say, I've joined this competition, year what, what have I learned, what are the difficulties that I have faced, all this. And then if, let's say, I'm an HR and I want to hire you, I look at your resume and I just casually find your details on LinkedIn, and I find out that you are such an extrovert person or a person who take the initiative to do all these things, it will be a plus point to you. So whether LinkedIn account is important or not, I think it's important. And also, it's never too late, or it's never too early to actually have one for your account.
All right. And so the Enlight team, we can after this, we can open LinkedIn account. We can post all the competitions we have won before. Right, we blast all the pictures. All right. Thank you for the feedback on the job portal, Miss Alice. And maybe we can move on to the most interesting question. This is actually personally for myself. A lot of students nowadays, we spend most of our time at home during MCO. We can't go anywhere. So what kind of skills would you suggest our students to learn to prepare themselves for the employment world? Because they got plenty of time at home. So what can they learn? What are the important skills they can equip for themselves to sell themselves? Maybe they can learn languages, any free courses they can go for. What's your advice on that?
Myself, during the MCO also, I've been searching for, because we are working, but we have plenty of times that we don't go out. So myself also searching for courses that can give certificates.
Oh, okay.
Regardless whichever course that you want to join in, for me, it doesn't really matter. But the first thing is, I strongly suggest that whatever programs that you apply online, make sure they have a certificate. But of course, you have to give an amount of money, but it worth it. So that when you go for interview, because you're preparing yourself as a fresh grad to go interview, you're preparing yourself as a fresh grad to go interview. No matter how good you are in your exams, in your academic, this HR and also these people who will hire you, they will feel like it's just exam. I have went through. I mean, I survived. What is so difficult? So you have to make yourself valuable in a sense of what are the things that you have learned that probably they don't have. So during this free time, you can take up the online courses, but make sure that it's with certificates, and then make sure that you know what are the values that you have in this course. For example, if you learn programming, if you learn coding, and if let's say you don't like programming, coding, you learn designing, then you get a certificates. Or let's say if you want to learn project management, or you want to learn basic accounting, then you tell people that I've learned this thing and I got a certificate to show that you are not wasting time and to show that I invest into myself to be more valuable for you to hire me. And I'm different compared to others. Yeah, whichever program. I don't have a fixed program. I don't have a fixed lessons or program that I want to suggest here. But I just want to emphasize that whichever it is, make sure there's a certificates to add value.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. All right. So while having this talk, anybody from the floor have any questions, you can just post it in the comment section, and then the Enlighters will wrap it up for you. Miss Alice, would you like to add any more sharing on your personal experience, maybe some funny experience in your workplace or anything you want to share with us? We would like to hear.
Funny experience in the workplace. Let's talk about myself more. So myself is actually from engineering background, and I'm practicing engineering currently. So I think the most outstanding part is how little females do we have in this field. Yeah. So there's a lot of times there's a lot of times sometimes you just ask yourself, am I choosing the wrong pathway or not? Like, what am I doing here? Or do I want to do this for long? If I don't do this for long, then why am I doing this? What am I doing? Sometimes you just doubt yourself that because of the environment, you put yourself so difficult that you don't know why are you doing this. So what I want to emphasize in this session is there's nothing wrong if, let's say, you come out to work in your first job, especially first job, because first job is always where we put ourselves into the society. And if you're a person with ambitions, you will start doubting yourself, am I on the correct pathway or not? Because you are so ambitious. Ambitious is not a wrong thing. Let me just clarify. Ambitious is not a wrong thing. But just because you're so ambitious, you will start doubting yourself whether I'm doing the correct pathway or not. But let me share with you that whichever job that you landed in the first job, do not too doubtful on yourself that you don't even finish it for 3 years and you walk out from that company.
Okay.
It will never be nice. It will never be nice because this is what my mom taught me when I was still very young. She told us that whichever job that you landed yourself for the first job, no matter how difficult it is, no matter how bad it is, the first 3 years, you must finish it. Unless it's too bad, let's say they don't pay you salary, that one cannot. That one cannot. But if let's say it's very tough, like say the people there, it's very, the people there are not so nice, but don't waste the time. Spend at least 3 years in the first job so that when you jump to the second job, you can share more and you can tell more and people can see that you have worked for a decent years before you go for the second company, because the second company will be hiring you, will be thinking that why do you only spend 1 year or 1.5 years there? Then you say, the people there not nice lah. Then they will start thinking, this person cannot work for hard times one, is it? Work for 1.5 years, say people not nice, then jump to another company. I also don't want to hire you. That's the reason why the first 3 years, whichever company that you've landed, make sure that you work yourself there like really hard and make sure that you look for the long term and not just for the short term.
All right, that's very good advice for students. Ms. Alice, we'd like to ask you, during your time in MMU, that amazing university, what are the activities, events or whatever you are very active in? Are there any?
Yeah, I was very active in MCing.
Oh, really? It's very rare to see engineering student doing that.
What's your orientation year?
Me, the day I entered MMU.
Yeah.
I did my diploma in 2015. I started.
Oh no lah, then I wasn't your OC lah. I was. It all started since when I joined the orientation OC and I got the MC. I got the MC OC.
Wow.
So that
which
was
hall?
the beginning part. That was
You
the
don't look. You
beginning
don't
part.
look that old, right, guys?
What
Next
hall?
time I see you, I have to belanja you makan already, Jackson.
Wow.
Come, compliment sama, come.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, I joined MC, but there was another one that I joined that I feel very grateful that I felt it's the correct choice of doing it. I joined the student chapter IET, Institutions of Engineering and Technology. I believe that different. See, let's pass by why I talk about the IET. My main point here is whatever activities that you join in your university year, make sure that you speak to the people who are elder than you. I don't know whether you understand what I mean or not. Okay, let's say even if it's out of MMU, that you join Leo Club or you join some other associations out of MMU, whichever it is, but always speak to people who are elder than you. Understand the thing that when you have problems, these are the people who will guide you. These are the people that will help you. These are the people who will expand your networking. But the bottom line, make sure that you're sincere. My bottom line is make sure that you're sincere. You don't do it just because of the sake of you want to get connections. Some people are like that. They just do it because of the connection. But do it because you're sincere and speak to people who are elder than you. Really, speak to people who are elder than you. The reason why I don't do my master's straight away after graduation is because I spoke to different people and they enlightened me. I'm very, very grateful that they enlightened me. They told me that if you want to take business management as masters, do take it only after you have worked for a few years. Because if not, you won't be able to relay yourself into what you have learned in business management. I'm really grateful that I spoke to these people and eventually I listened to their advice. And when I did my master's in engineering business management, I encountered people who first graduated and straight away do this master. They cannot understand a single thing. What is the lecturer was talking about?
Wow.
See, you see, these are the people who will guide you through, you know. So do speak with people who are more elder than you. Expand your networking with people who are elder than you. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of associations or even societies in MMU that you have such opportunities. It's just whether you search for it or not, and also whether you take the initiative to do it or not. Opportunities only reserved to people who take the chance.
Yes, agree. So we all have to pick up the habit of speaking to someone elder because they know more, they have more experience. I agree with that. Yeah, because Mr. Vincent is our elder in MMU. So whenever we got a problem, we just go into his room. He got chess for us, and then sometimes he buy candy, sometimes he buy biscuits for us. We just go there and make like our own house, you know, like chit chat. And then once we come out, we feel better. Yeah.
Yes, you see, for the reason you speak to him, for the reasons that you learn from him, then you come up with this platform and you're doing something different already. So by the time you have graduated, you come out, you meet people who are in HR, you're talking to your boss, then you have things to tell, you know. It's like, oh, during university years, I actually did this with my Mr. Vincent, that we did this platform, and what are the people that I've encountered in this platform, what are the things I've learned in this platform. You know, you have something to tell people. You always have things to tell people that people feel like, oh, you're actually different. Yeah, which is important. It's always lead you to the correct pathway, one, trust me.
Yeah, so we are different, guys. Remember, guys? All right. So we are done with the interview questions from Enlight's side. So anybody from the floor have any question for Miss Alice? Don't be shy. Just throw your questions, and she can do her best to answer. So Mr. Gabriel has a question on communication is very important for any occasions. How did you improve your communication and did well in MC roles?
If I tell this one, you don't laugh. Oh.
We will try our best.
I will tell you, the beginning part I practiced through looking into mirrors.
Hey, me too.
Looking into mirrors. If any one of you here who are not so comfortable of speaking in front, you have to speak to the mirror every single day. Speak to the mirror every single day. Any topic, whatever you want. whatever you want, you just talk to the mirror. Because I realize that most of the time we are being not so confident in front is because that you don't know what you are presenting in front. You don't know what you're presenting in front in the sense of maybe you don't know your expressions. Maybe you don't even realize that you're not smiling. The moment that you're not smiling, you will show a face that you're very terrified, that people will look through you. And then sometimes when you speak, you look into people's eyes and then you start to feel trembling. You'll be very scared already. So do not look into people's eyes. For me, I always look somewhere near their eyes, their nose, their mouth, but not their eyes. Sometimes because it's too scary. I will feel scary also. So sometimes you just don't look into their eyes. You can just look at their nose, their mouth. Then you just look at them. And then the first thing that I did was to sit in the mirror. The second thing to do is, this is a bit weird, but hopefully you don't mind. Sometimes while I'm doing stuff or while I'm driving, I'll just talk to myself.
Okay.
I'll just talk to myself. Yeah,
It's
I'll just
amazing.
talk to myself also. Yeah, but this will be weird also. But it's a practice will definitely make you more comfortable of yourself. Trust me, practice will make you more comfortable on yourself. Then the third thing is speaking is one thing, content is another thing. You will realize that some people they speak, but there's no content. So content is another thing. So when it comes to content, if it's a leisure conversation like now, then probably your content will be different because you only give the main content and then elaborate from there. You give the main content, then elaborate from there. But if it's a presentation, how I remember the content, the points, I use my fingers.
What? That's weird. How does that work?
So how it goes is actually like this. Let's say I'm going to talk about the presentations for Apple. My presentation is going to be Apple. So I remember my first finger here is about the color. The second finger here, I'll talk about maybe the tree. And then the third finger here, maybe I talk about color, tree, and then I talk about the varieties. So when I do presentation, I only need to remember my fingers. Eventually, I remember the point.
Wow.
The color, the tree. It's like you label each finger with one content already. Yeah. So the moment that you see this finger, then you see that finger, then it's like when you do a presentation, like say you're doing presentations, you see your finger, then you know, okay, after this point is this point, because I know already this finger is about the tree, color, and also the color, the tree, and also varieties. Eventually you label the fingers with the point. So you won't.
Okay.
That's a good approach.
Just like people, I remember this face is Gabriel. I remember this face is Vincent. I remember this face is Nicholas. So that's how I remember. This finger is what. This finger is what. This finger is what. This finger is what. That's how I remember my points when doing presentation.
That's
Because if you're too scared, your fingers won't run away. It's forever stay there. Yeah.
I never heard of that because I've seen people holding big piece of papers in their hand, Instead of that, just use your fingers. Yeah.
Apparently your fingers is your big piece of paper already. You just need to remember these fingers is for what, and then it will come to your mind. This is about this thing, this is about that thing. That's my way lah. I hope that it's useful to you all.
Yeah, it is. Because personally, me and Mr. Vincent, I've been mentoring with him since the past 2 years. We've been to a lot of competitions. The way that I avoid my nervousness when I speak on the stage, he'll be on the floor and I'll be on the stage. When I forget something, I get nervous, I look at his face, I feel better.
See, you got a point, right? It's the same thing. It's the memory calling back to you through the thing that you're familiar. So by means of the thing that you're familiar is, I remember this finger is for this point, this finger is this point. So whenever I don't remember, I know the flow of it already. It starts from the thumb to this finger to this finger. So when I finish this finger, I know that this finger, what is the next point already? Exactly like what you mentioned. It's a memory calling back.
Wow.
Hopefully
all right. That's a very good tips. Guys, we can follow up to this.
Yeah, we can take note of that.
Alright.
For MC cheat code, man.
Yeah, I mean, actually, Mr. Lim has another question. What is the reason to change the job if the company who you wish to join asking you this question?
What is the good reason to change the job if the company who you wish to join asking you this question? Definitely you have to tell something positive lah. Definitely have to tell something positive. You can say it's because of career advancement. my way when you jump from one company to another company, when the new company asks you about the old company, no matter how much that you don't like the old company, please do not tell the negative thing.
Yeah.
Please do not tell
Agree
the
on
negative
that.
thing, because you are just imagining yourself, you are going into a new company. If you tell the negative thing about it, then eventually that person will put a negative thoughts on you that you come to my company, you're going to do the same thing also. You're going to be very negative also. That's the first thing to tell. So you have to tell a positive outcome. Everything that happens, there will always be positive and negative, whatever it happens.
Mhm.
For example, let's say you change job because this company has a, how should I say, uh, how should I say, it's very tricky questions, because I have to be very careful. If I say the wrong thing, it might lead to you all to understand a wrong
The wrong
thing.
thing.
Yeah. So if let's say you want to go for career advancement to a new company, how you want to tell them you change you there must be reasons why you leave the first company. If let's say you leave the first company because of your own reasons that you don't like the people, then maybe it's your problem also. But let's say
Yeah.
if you change the company because of lack of opportunity, then you can just say that my past job has passed my limitations of career advancement. I want to go further than that. I want to go something bigger. That's why I come to your company. Say
Mm.
something that it will complement. Say
The
something that
company.
it will complement the
Like,
company.
yeah.
Say something that the reason you change the company is because that my past company cannot give me, and your company is good enough that it can give me. Wow,
Yeah. Compliment more.
wow,
Later dia belanja you makan.
yeah, I'll be like, oh, not bad, okay, come.
Yeah.
My company is really indeed better.
Okay. There's another favorite question from Mervin. How to answer the question of where do you see yourself in 5 years or 10 years? So how do you answer that, Miss Alice?
Yeah, I think on Monday itself, I got asked this question. I myself got this question. I
Wow.
myself got this question. Okay, yeah, all the questions that being asked by these people, actually it makes sense. Well, ask yourself honestly. Actually, if let's say these questions, if personally yourself have already put the deep thoughts on these questions, there's no problem when they ask you these questions. There's no problem anyone to ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to emphasize is, regardless whether people ask you this question or not, regardless whether the interviewer is going to ask you this question or not, by right, you yourself should already know what you have
Wow.
targeted yourself in the near years. That's what I want to emphasize. I have been asked this question also in the past company, but he asked me, what do I see myself in 10 years time? And I was being very honest. I said 10 years time, it's really too long. And 10 years time, I'm like, what, 30 years old? So I said it's too far away. I can't tell you exactly what it will be in 10 years time, but I can share with you what I see myself in 5 years time. There's no right or
Mm-hmm.
wrong
Mm-hmm.
question. That's why when people ask these questions, there's no right or wrong. It really depends on you. And regardless whether they ask you these questions or not, you should already know. I myself now at the moment, I want to ask all of you, what do you see yourself in the 5 years time? You have to know already by right yourself. If
Agree.
let's say you want to do management, then you tell them, I want to go into management, that I want to oversee the people and oversee the projects. That's what I see myself in 5 years time. You
Mm-hmm.
have to tell them, what do you want to see yourself in 5 years time?
All right. Okay, so hope we answered that question for Marvin.
Yeah,
Mr. I
Marvin,
want to ask.
I don't have a fixed answer for you. I'm quite curious also. So what do you see yourself in 5 years time?
Right. So maybe we can have another session for just that particular question about future. Miss, have you encountered like candidates? They always want to sell themselves. They always want to sell themselves. They would say yes to whatever requirement you give them. Can you work overtime? Yes. Can you work a weekend? Yes. They're trying to get a job. They're desperate. So how do you deal with such problem of candidates who are desperate for the job? How do you really pick the one that is the right for the company? How do you know this is the one?
The attitude, the attitude that they exhibit during the interviews itself will determine that person already. So if let's say you mention like what you have described earlier, that you interview that person and the person say yes for everything, it must be a reasonable yes lah. Because if it's not a real yes, I think I would doubt myself to accept you also. In the sense of, I feel it's not sincere. I feel it's like for the sake of just for the interview, and you want to come into company, then you say yes for everything. So it has to be a reasonable thing, whether you really can do it or not. And always remember, the moment you say yes, it means that you really commit yourself into it already. And if you are not willing to do so, do not say yes. Yeah. And from my side here, when I interview people, how do I want to justify whether that person is correct person or not, is the right person or not? Interview is like a 50-50% chance that you are like putting a dab in a 50% chance. If I see you, your attitude is right, and I hire you, and I realize that you're not the right person, then that's it lah.
Wow.
But whether how you want to reserve the 50% chance, right? It depends on your attitude when you're being interviewed. It doesn't.
I think we lost Miss Alice. Miss Alice, you're breaking. It's okay, we give some time. All right, so to wrap up whatever she said, it's very important for you to know about the background of the company, do some homework, and you have to know yourself, your strengths and weaknesses. All right, so anybody from the flow have any questions, you can just write it down in the comment section. We will wrap it up, and then we will answer it for you. Miss Alice, you're breaking just now. Now you're back. She's breaking again. So it's some challenge for us to do video conferencing like this. But it's okay, that's normal, guys. Be positive.
Right, so she's back in.
I'm back here 3.0.
Yes!
I'm back here 3.0.
All right, that's great.
Yeah,
it's great to see you again.
You watch TV also got commercial advertisement ma.
Like Astro got raining ma, no signal ma, normal
yeah. Commercial advertisement. Okay, now I'm back.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, just now you're speaking about the picking candidates.
Yeah, whether it's a good candidate or not. Interviewers will know whether it's a good candidate or not by asking you questions. And if you know what you want, if you're clear about yourself of what you want, basically you're 80% being chosen because you know what you want. You're clear about where you are intended to go to. So whether it's a right candidate or not, it's not the person who say yes for everything, but it's the person who know where to say the yes.
Exactly. That's an amazing answer, really. I was expecting that. That's an amazing answer. All right. Okay, so we got that question. We also have some other questions from Ms. Lim. What will you do if the salary they offer doesn't meet your expectation? So what do you do?
Very good
Money
question. Yeah, very good question. Let's talk about salary. First thing first, when you put salary, do not put a fixed figure. Do not put a number. Put a range. Okay? Do not put a number, put a range. And okay lah, as fresh grad, if you want to put salary on your CV, resume, I think it's acceptable. But if you're changing your job or your second or third job, I wouldn't want to put salary inside there. I would rather put more effort of making my resumes look more presentable, doing video resume. Then only, because I want to grab the opportunity for these people to meet me first, to lock them down that they want me first before I talk about salary.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a good strategy.
Okay, that's for when you want to change your job. You put more, don't, because if you put a figure there. If let's say that figure doesn't match with what they want, okay lor, I can always have another 10 candidates there ma. Okay, this one pass lah. No matter how good you are, your salary doesn't match already. Go lah. I don't need you already. I find others. But put more efforts on how to present your CV, make it more presentable, make them cannot resist your CV, video resume, make them that, okay, I want this person, I want to meet that person. Like I mentioned to you, it's a 50% chance. Grab your 50% chance first. Then you reach until there, present yourself, you talk, you make them feel you're very, not to make them feel you're very mature. You are very matured, you have things to tell, you know what you want. Grab another 50% chances, you're 100 already. Then you got the negotiation point. Then you can tell what is the price that you want, what is the salary that you want, because you got the negotiation skill in a sense of you've got the power to negotiate already. Lock them down first. Okay, that's for you if you want to change your job.
Wow.
As a fresh grad, I would suggest to write a salary there. But basically for fresh grad, the range is very fixed. I don't know whether Mr. Lim is actually a changing job or it's a fresh grad, but if let's say a fresh grad, it's quite fixed. The figure is quite fixed, especially if it's in KL Selangor area. It's quite stagnant. So, but if you want to stand for a chance, then feel free not to write a figure, but write a range. And then, if let's say you write a range and they offer you the lowest one, this is what I did lah. You end the whole thing by saying that I will accept the offer because if you really need that job and you really like that job, and you really want that job, then you can accept the offer. But you can say, I will accept the job, but I foresee that there will be increment after the job review once my probation ended. Because everyone will have to go through probation. Every job that you go in will have to go through probations, a period of probations, depends on 3 to 6 months. So usually after probation, they will review you. Review means they will ask you what you have learned, what you can contribute to the company, what do you think that the company need to change, what should the company do for you. All these things is a review session. It's like an academic, you got your academic advisor, right? Something like academic advisor session. So once you've done that already, then you can negotiate whether you want to have increment of salary or not. So if let's say they give you the figure, first thing first, you put the salary range, and then you mention it in the interview itself that I foresee that there will be increment after the probation ended, and we have a review. And hopefully through this review also, I can contribute to the company, or say the good things that you will do your best for the company, and you hope that you will see my worthiness, and then you will negotiate for your salary increment.
All right, that's a really amazing tips. We can all take note on all this video interview, knowing your job, and then when you present, use your fingers, and then you have to put salary range in your resume. Yep, that's a good tips. Anybody from the floor have any questions? You can just ask. All right, we have one from Miss Lim again. How to prepare yourself if you know there will be a test during interview, but you don't know what they will ask?
You don't know what they will ask. How to prepare yourself? You know there will be a test during interview, but you don't know what they will ask.
They could do more homework about the company, right? Don't you think?
Yeah, usually tests. My understanding of the test, it's more like your hard skills. See, during interview or during the job requirement, some job requirements will have a soft skills and also the hard skills. The hard skills mean more onto like your technical skills, let's say if you're an accountant, probably they want to test you some basic fundamental understanding of the things that you required in your fundamental knowledge in accounting. Like engineering, they will test you the fundamental of using CAD, AutoCAD, or asking you design phases. My understanding of test is on the technical and hard skills. Is that what you mean, Mr. Lim? Because if you are emphasizing on the hard skills, then what I want to tell you is how to prepare. Basically, your preparation is throughout your whole university year lah. Maybe I should say that, because how familiar on yourself for this test is how you prepare yourself throughout this university year. So if throughout this whole university year, when you do group project and you never use AutoCAD and you refuse to use AutoCAD, then too bad, Lord, really cannot pass the test. Because the reason why they will come up with the test, okay, it's a good thing also. If you don't pass the test, don't be discouraged, people. because they come up with the test for a reason. The reason they come up with the test is they want to make sure that you are prepared for the job. If let's say you apply for engineering designer job and you don't like to use AutoCAD, and the tests are definitely they'll test you how to use the AutoCAD, and you don't pass it, which is for me it's a relevant flow. Even if you pass the test, it means that you like AutoCAD, then you shouldn't not be able to pass the test because of the engineering. You understand what I mean or not? I'm trying to say that the test that they give you, definitely it complement with the job requirement. If you don't pass the test, it means that you can't even suit yourself to the job requirement. There's no reason for you to force yourself to go into that job because you can't pass the test for the reason of that's the requirement. Yeah, every day you do the same thing, then only they come up with the test in order for you to pass it first. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to emphasize. You don't be discouraged if you cannot pass the test. It means that job doesn't suit you. Hunt for others.
All right. Hope that answers the question. Ms. Sadini would like to ask on the question of what if HR said they don't have salary adjustment upon confirmation? Like just now when it said about the salary range that you want to go through probation. So because not all companies provide salary reviews. So what is your comment on that?
If they don't have salary adjustment during a confirmation, ask yourself whether you want this job or not. See, at different age, you do different thing. Okay, I repeat, at different age, you do different thing. So let's say if you're fresh grad, you have nothing to offer, and that person cannot give you this price because you're asking too much, they cannot give you a salary review, ask yourself, if I spend 3 years time here, do I make it to where I want to be in the next 5 years? Unless you're telling me that you're at the age of 35. When you're 35, you have a lot of commitments. You probably have houses, you probably have cars, you probably have loans. So that would be different. Salary probably will be the first consideration point. But if let's say you're in fresh grad, you're in your first, second, third job, ask yourself, if there's no salary review, do you see this company that's without the salary review can be your stepping stone to go where you want to go in the 3 years time or not? If your answer is no, it's not a stepping stone and I don't get the salary that I want, hunt for another one. There's always other jobs out there. Wow. Salary, it's important, I know. But it depends on at what age that you need the salary. For me, like myself, 27 years old, salary is partially important, 50% important. My another 50% is I have to make sure that it's a stepping stone.
Okay? Wow. All right, that's amazing answer. We can move on maybe to the last question from Mr. Tandaran. What is your advice on how many percent of salary increment should we ask for? Is it 30%?
Okay, I assume that you're talking about when your salary increment, it's after the salary review, or your salary increment is when you jump from the first job to another job, your first job to second job, or your second job to your third job. Can I know what your jump to another job? Oh, okay, jump to another job. So when you want to jump another job, what is you talk about salary. Yeah. Actually,
money.
I myself have talked to a few people about salary review. I myself have talked to a few people about salary review. Generally, if you work in that company that you're working at, whichever company you are, if it's a healthy company in terms of financial cash flow, they would be able to give you bonus and also give you salary increment, which is generally at the percentage of 15 to 20%, 15 to 20. Okay, this is my own survey with my friends and other people that I talk to. We talk about salary increment. So 15 to 20%, supposedly the company that you're working at, whichever you're working at, it can give you the increment from year to year, 15 to 20%. So when you choose to jump to another company, definitely you want something more than 15 to 20. Because if it's not 15 or 20, then might as well I stay back in the same company, unless you want to go for job change or career advancement. So if 15 to 20% over here and you intended to jump, make sure that the jump is more than 20%. 30% is the ideal one. You are right. You are right, Mr. Tan. 30% is the ideal one.
Wow.
Yeah,
All
30%
right.
is
So
the ideal.
with that, we end the question answer. Any further questions, we would wrap up, and then maybe we can send to Miss Adeline on another session. She can actually just give us the answer through Google document. She can just give us the answer so that we can convey those message to the audience. Ms. Alice, would you like to add any more points? Anything else to say? Don't say no.
I'm not sure whether here majority are from the fresh grads or you are actually working in your first company already and you're intended to jump for the second or third companies. But since my topic is about job hunting for fresh grad, I also share a video recently about how difficult it is for the job hunting for our fresh grads currently. But I would just want to wrap up whereby I say if you would want to find for your job after you graduated, try expanding your search in internships. Yeah, I think I mentioned that in my videos. Try expanding your choices in internships. The reason why I say internship is because actually I've said that all in the video. The reason why you should look into internship is because a lot of companies at the moment they would thought that internships and fresh grads they are at the same level of expertise and also experiences and exposure. So might as well I just choose internships. Your commitment is shorter compared to the fresh grad employment. But from there, if I see your capability, I will hire you straight away into my full time. So do not limit yourself because I feel like the job hunting trend for the fresh grad at the moment will be definitely different compared to ours already. Will be definitely compared to ours. So you need to be creative also. That's why I say video resume and I say how you want to present yourself. And I talk about don't only search for fresh grad, search for internship also. And that's the most important thing I want to share lah. The second thing that I want to share is you have to change your mindset. I remember when I wanted to change my job, my ex-colleague told me that don't think that it's difficult. She told me that don't think it's difficult. Just think that whenever you want to search for a job, it's difficult. Don't put yourself into pressure that saying because of the pandemic it become extra difficult. Because the moment you think that it's extra difficult, you're already putting a negative mindset to yourself. So please do not think that. Just put yourself in the normal conditions and think that Alice suggested there's two options. You can go for fresh grad and you can go for internships. I don't care about pandemic. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you all.
All right. So talking about pandemic, maybe we can ask one last question because this one is related to me personally. I'm planning to go to Singapore next year. So would you advise me to go and work in Singapore during this pandemic? Yeah, interesting, huh?
Then I will want to ask you, what's the reason that you want to work in Singapore?
Wow.
Are you comfortable to talk about it or you?
Yeah, of course, definitely. I'm a very open type. So I want to be an entrepreneur, for my passion because I don't have the attitude to work with people. I can't do that. It's very difficult for me. So to be an entrepreneur, I plan to open my own restaurant. I love restaurant business. So to get the capital, I need to work fast and earn fast. So I need to go to Singapore to earn Singapore dollars. Maybe I can earn bigger money and then come back here and start a business. All right. So the reason I'm going to Singapore is just for the capital. I can earn it in maybe 3 years. If I work in Malaysia, I can maybe make it in 7-8 years. It would take me longer time. So that was my reason to go to Singapore. Your advice?
Okay. If you want to, then I would say your time is a factor. Why do I say time is a factor? Your time management has to be very careful. Why do I say that? The longer that you work in Singapore, definitely your capital will be bigger. But you have to manage it. You have to find out. You have to do your time management and also your costing. You have to find out when is the best time that you should come back. The reason why I say that is because when you start your job or when you start rooting yourself into Singapore, your connection is in Singapore. The people that you know, the mutual friends that you have, your colleagues, friends, and then you are a very outgoing person, extrovert. So I assume that you will have a lot of friends there. And when you come back here, you have to start from zero in your networking. Even if it's not zero, but you have to remember your networking is over there. It's a real life stories that I have known a person. That person went to Singapore. He worked as a consultant, engineer, to get the capital, like what you mentioned, to gain the capital. But by the time he came back here, his connections are all over there. His connections are all over in Singapore. So he has the difficulties to expand his networking here to do business.
Okay.
But yours is a bit different. Yours is because that you want to open up restaurants. So restaurant is more onto like a day-to-day business. But for
Yeah.
him, it's a consultancy. It's a services. Service
Oh.
connection networking always bring you further down the road. That's why it's very important that you have connections in service field. But yours is day-to-day business. That's why I say you can do that. For me, your idea is good. You can do that. But your time management and your costing is very important. The longer you stay there, your networking will be there. You'll be rooted over there. So when you come back here, you only gain one thing, which is capital. And you have to start that basically from zero again.
Agree. I agree. All right.
So
Okay,
you
that's
can
really
do that,
nice.
Jackson. Just the time itself. You can do that. You have to be very careful with your time.
Okay, sure. I'll give you free meal.
For last time.
All right. So, anybody from the floor would like to have any message? Like any appreciation to our Alice, Miss Alice. You can just send it to us, and then we will do a poster for that. Miss Alice, thank you so much for the session. I think we already exceeded like half an hour from the actual time. Thank you again for us. So we'd like
Thank
to ask
you.
you one last thing before we leave. What do you think about Enlight's effort, and what is your message to the students?
I think this effort is very good. I mean, this effort is really good. Like I suggested from the beginning of these sessions, I think we should expand it more to other universities. Then we can do crossover. We can do crossover, and then my suggestion is we do a crossover. But in terms of effort, I think you people are doing very good effort. I think we should give a clap. We should give claps to Mr. Vincent.
Yeah.
We should give claps to Mr. Vincent and all of you when you have a tough time or you have problems. I'm sure that Mr. Vincent will be there to assist all of you. Very lucky
Yeah,
for
he's
all of
always
you.
there.
I think you all should consider yourself, whoever in the Enlight group, you should consider yourself as very lucky to have such mentor and do spread out all these positivities of having mentors to other people so that more people will even come in. Yeah, the moment that you spread out to people that how good it is that we have this platform in terms of mentoring, in terms of people who are elder than us to guide us, people will see the point and they'll come back to us.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you for Miss Alice.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
So
you,
we
Gabriel.
officially
Thank you,
end the session.
Nicholas.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank you so
everyone.
much, Alice.
Thank you. Bye. Sorry for always dropping out. Bye.
No problem,
No,
no
it's okay.
problem.
It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. All right.
Bye.
So